Good morning, welcome back everyone. Thanks again for joining me for the live performance kitchen. We are going cereal bars today. So why have I picked the cereal bar? Well, there's a million trillion reasons. That for one, every single athlete on the planet seems to be eating them. For two, hello, I can see you all coming in. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Who have I got? I'm going to do my shout outs. Hi to Paula, hi to Louise, hi to Samina, hi to Matty Wright. Thanks for joining me, Matty. Hope you're cooking with me this morning. Hi, Sophie Clift out there. I know you cook with me every week. Laney's there. Hi, Laney. Hi to Sue. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. I was just saying we are doing cereal bars this week. Last week we did the katsu curry. I know some of you sent me some brilliant pictures, so thank you very much. And I know some of you enjoyed it for your meal that evening. And it's just a great option out there for when you're in the mood. Hello everyone coming through. So, cereal bars. Why are we doing cereal bars? Well, I did a poll with some of my athletes, female athletes, a few weeks ago, and one of them was their #1 go-to snack, and this is a snack they take before and after their exercise, and the common denominator on the back of that poll was the cereal bar. Now, the cereal bar comes under so many different guises: energy bar, breakfast bar, cereal bar, muesli bar, you name it. If you go into a supermarket nowadays, they have their own sections. So just beside the biscuits and the chocolate bars are the cereal bars, and then they're designed to go beside the breakfast cereals. This intrigued me, and I sort of asked, what is it about these cereal bars? And I think the overall riding thing was they're healthier. And so, being me, I thought, are they healthier? Because I'm always suspect of things that are promoted as healthy options and probably aren't. So I got every single box in my local supermarket, as you do, brought it home and dissected the cereal bar. And lo and behold, obviously, it's a mixed bag. Some of them aren't that bad. So those of you that are interested, I've obviously done spreadsheets now on the ones that aren't that bad. But on the whole, they contain loads of rubbish that we don't need. Loads of rubbish that keeps them on our shelves, that preserves them, that colours them, that makes them taste sweeter and makes your blood sugar levels go crazy and makes you feel like going to bed an hour later. So I have designed a cereal bar, energy bar. You can call it what you want, but what it is a healthier bar. It also takes very little time, because I know we're all very time conscious. There's very little skill involved, so that's brilliant. Anybody can make these. And as always, it's totally versatile, loads of variety, loads of different options I'm going to give you today, so you can create your own flavours for your own bars. Now, the first thing we're going to do, those of you who are cooking with me, we're not so much cooking today, but we're toasting, okay? And it's optional. For those of you that are purists and want everything without touching heat or anything, you don't have to. But I'm going to toast the dry ingredients, which are the porridge oats, which are our like main ingredient in this, and the nuts, okay? So 135 grams of porridge oats. I'm weighing straight into a saucepan today because I'm going to toast mine, dry toast them on my hob. I have put in the recipe because it's actually safer, so I always opt for safer in the actual recipe card, that you can put these in the oven for 10 minutes at around 350, 375 Fahrenheit. Takes a bit longer and I haven't got 10 minutes, so I'm going to dry toast mine. Equally, if you've got a grill and if you've got the time to stand and watch over it, do it on the grill. But again, that is really fast and you can easily burn them. So just put in 135 grams of porridge oats and 150 grams of almonds, which I've just whizzed up in my food processor. I'll talk you through other ways of breaking nuts down in a minute. So I'm just there. You can give them a bit of a mix together. It doesn't really matter. Keep them as close to the surface as possible. They're going onto a medium to high heat in a totally dry saucepan. We're not using any oil. We're not using anything on the bottom. We are toasting them. So that's going to go on a high heat. Now, whilst we're toasting them, and can somebody remind me in about a minute and a half if I forget? They won't. I've got my technical here nodding. Yes, she'll remind me. Okay, so we're going to toast up them. Why are we toasting? We're going to toast them to bring out more flavour. So if we think of something like the flapjack, which is the closest like neighbour or friend of the cereal bar, everything's toasted, it's caramelised, we bring out all the flavours. And obviously, when we're eating a cereal bar, we're eating it from the satiety point of view, the flavour point of view. So I really want to bring out all the flavours of those nuts and porridge oats, because we're not going to cook it. So after this, that's it. Porridge oats, absolutely perfect carbohydrate for you all. It's a complex carbohydrate, so it's going to keep your energies there for longer. It's going to fuel you for around about 4 hours. In addition, it's a great source of protein. Who knew? So I'm vegetarian, I eat a tiny bit of fish, but it's a brilliant form of protein, so remember that. And it's also masses of antioxidants in it. So porridge oats is always a win-win. I mean, I recommend it obviously in porridge for breakfast. I recommend it in lots of different recipes. So porridge oats is brilliant. The nuts, perfect form of protein, perfect form of your healthy fats, which we need. We definitely need healthy fats, so don't leave them out of your diet. Do you want me to check them just in case they're burning? Got 20 seconds apparently. Anyway, let me give them a check. So just literally shake the pan, and if you want, you can just kind of turn them around. I can smell now that they're sort of toasting away, and you usually get a good sign from that. So we'll give them another, 30 seconds or something. Now, whilst we're doing that, let me just show you what we're going to do. We're going to put some of our wet ingredients into a saucepan. Again, I'm measuring straight into the saucepan for 2 reasons. 1, as we know, there's no point having lots of dirty dishes afterwards. And 2, I've got lots of hearts coming up here now. 2, we're going to be weighing in honey. And honey is really sticky, as is maple syrup if you're using that. And then it just gets everywhere. So let's just go easy. Squeezy, please, it just makes life so much easier for this. So if you can get squeezy honey, you can use your raw honey here. The reason I'm not is that if we're using raw honey, the main benefits are we don't put it near heat, and I'm going to have to warm this. So, okay, so I'm just going to use straightforward honey. Maple syrup is your other alternative here. So, in terms of measurements now, we're going to go with around about 4 tablespoons or about 85 grams of honey. Okay, I'm being asked now to check on my toasted nuts and porridge oats. I'm causing everybody to sweat in the kitchen today. Doesn't bother me. I'm very relaxed about it. Okay, so that's that. Let me take my porridge oats and my nuts off here. Okay, they're great. They've toasted up nicely for me. They've gone all brown and crispy around the edges, and I'm just going to leave them now on my surface to cool slightly. Now, to the honey or the maple syrup, whichever you're using, we're going to add our nut butter, around 60 grams of nut butter. That's approximately 2 to 3 tablespoons for those of you that just would rather use a tablespoon and weigh everything out. And we're going to add that in with the honey now, and we're going to just warm the 2 of them together. Now, why are we using honey and nut butter? So traditionally in the shop bought versions, here's where you'd find, I'm just going to put this on the same heat by the way now, so it's again medium to high heat, and this is going to take seconds. So again, about a minute. Again, reminder please. So removing all the baddie sugars. We don't want the dextrose, the maltose, all the ones that spike our blood sugar levels again. They're great for about 10 minutes and then you're just feeling really tired. What we want is the fructose. Fructose is found naturally in fruit, it's found naturally in honey and maple syrup. It's sweeter than sugar, so we need less of it. So I've reduced the amounts of sugar in this recipe, and it's easier for our blood sugar levels. So it's going to have less of an effect in terms of peaks and spikes. So it's just a much better option, guys. So you won't see me cooking with white sugar very often. There is another source of sugar in this recipe, and that is dried fruit. So you can pick here. I've done some, as I always do, the day before to show you. And we went for dates yesterday, so decided that today I should maybe try something different as the fruit. And I've put it on the recipe card. So I'm actually going to use apricots today. And I'm going to put them, I'm going to weigh them out in a moment. But let me just see. Okay, so here now, we've got our melted honey and butter, almond butter. Now again, you can use whatever sort of nut butters you guys are into. If you like peanut butter, fine. If you like crunchy rather than smooth, or smooth rather than crunchy, go for it. Whichever form of nut butter. Nut butter again, it's a brilliant binder in this recipe. You know I love my nut butters, and it's brilliant in terms of flavour, and obviously we've got protein in it, and it's also packed with antioxidants and omegas. So, okay, it looks all a bit funny at the moment, but it's like a lovely, sticky, gluey solution that we're going to add to our dry ingredients in just a moment. Now, in terms of what we do with our apricots or our dates or our figs or whatever dry fruit you're going to use, we're going to put it into a blender, if you have a blender, okay? If you don't, I'm going to give you an option in a minute, but let me just weigh it out. So we're going to go for 225 grams. Now that bag, just for those of you that, you know, you're into the shop, that's 510, so it's just about half of that bag. And I'm going to show you now on a plate, because I like you all to know in terms of, so that there is 225 grams. So what, about 20 dried apricots, and that's going into all of these bars, of which is going to be at least 12. So if you start looking at this proportion, it's really good. Now, apricots, they're going in. Let me tell you about an apricot. First of all your dried fruit is your form of fibre. We all need fibre. It's a great form of carbohydrate. It's a great form of fructose sugar, so it's going to sweeten this. In addition, the apricots are packed with vitamin C, vitamin E and beta carotene. So we can start to sort of prescribe our own energy bars here. What do you want? If you want your vitamin C's, your vitamin E's and all that, go for your apricots. If you want more of your antioxidants or varying different types of vitamins, choose accordingly. Figs, dates, they've all got different micronutrient values. So you can start to prescribe your own ingredients in this and get really excited about, you know, different flavors and different results and different benefits. Now, I'm using a blender. If you've got a blender, a food processor, a whizzer, whatever you want to call it, this is absolutely ideal, because we're going to make our mixture, sort of like a pulp that's going to hold everything together. If you haven't, top tip, get a dish of warm water. Warm, I mean quite warm, okay, so like boil the kettle and then leave it for maybe 10-15 minutes and pour it over your apricots. Leave it for half an hour, drain them, and then they're much easier to dice up, so you can cut them really, really fine. So you don't necessarily have to have a food processor. It makes it a lot easier, but you can do it without, okay, so no excuses. Right, let me just quickly whiz this. It's a little bit noisy, it's not too bad. It's gonna take about 30 seconds, and we're looking for like a sticky, doughy ball to form. Perfect. Okay, we have our pulp. So I've gone apricot. How pretty is that colour? But again, obviously if you're using dates and figs, you'll have a very similar result. Now, let's put everything together. So I'm going to go with the saucepan that we used before, okay, for our honey and peanut butter, and we're going to mix everything in that saucepan. So we've got our lovely almond butter and honey. We've got our toasted almonds and oats. Now again, and you know I use nuts a lot because of the protein, because of the healthy omega-3 fats, and because of the antioxidants. In addition, vitamin E and magnesium. So these are really, really important for us athletes and runners in particular. They'll attenuate, they'll stop all those muscle sores, those cramps, etc. They really help. So don't leave them out of your diet. So we've got that, but if you don't like almonds, please, the ones I've done yesterday have got walnuts and pecans in, so you can mix up your nuts. You can go for half of one, half of another. You can put 3 different varieties in. Walnuts, brilliant for selenium. Again, prescribe what do you feel like you're lacking in your diet, which micronutrients do you feel you're going to benefit from more, and pick accordingly the different whole foods that are going into this, okay? Right, so that's those 2 ingredients mixed together. I'm just turning it around. Now this is a little bit, like, it gets a little bit sticky and messy. I don't mind that. I'm just warning those of you that are very clean, like cooks in the kitchen there. This does get a little bit messy. Here's this wonderful apricot paste. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? So pop that in. What I'm loving about all this is not only is these ingredients taste incredible, but everything's doing you a benefit. So it's like guilt-free. You know, I look at these cereal bars. I even went in this morning just to pick up a few I hadn't yet seen, and I just could not believe the stuff that they put in them, all the different kinds of preservatives, additives, all the unnecessary things. Right, now that's taken me, and I've gone really slow this morning because I wanted just to talk you through the main ingredients. But that's taken me, what, 10, 15 minutes, absolute maximum. You could do these in, I've done them in 7 minutes, okay? So in terms of it being a speedy result, it'd take you longer to drive to the shop and buy the unhealthy version. That is the base of your cereal bar. Now, those of you that are, have an allergy to nuts, obviously you can still make this. I would just increase the volume of rolled oats you're using. So you could, I think it's 135 and 150 of nuts. So just double up on your porridge oats and you'll have the same result without the nuts. Equally, if you're holding back in terms of calories or fats and you really don't want those extras, you can just reduce the nuts and increase the oats on that level, okay? So we could just leave it at that. You know I'm not going to, but we could, but there's absolutely no chance we're going to do that. We can add whatever we want now. We've created our base of our energy bar, cereal bar, whatever we want to call them. What can we add? We can add whatever we want. So I'm going to put in this one some chai seeds. So you'll all have different seeds that you're lovers of for whatever reasons. Again, it's all different types of benefits, different types of micronutrients, different types of antioxidants. They're all of a benefit. Chai seeds are one I just always keep in my cupboard. I add them into smoothies. You've seen me use them in different bakes. I'm going to go for 1 tablespoon and shake them straight in. Again, if you're users of flaxseed, that can go in at this point. Pumpkin seed, again, you can toast your seeds if you like toasting them. Just give it a stir in. What else can we do? Well, if you want to add more flavour and more goodie, you could put some zest of an orange, zest of a lemon, depending on what you're working with. Just zest it straight in at this point. You could put a tiny bit of the juice in if you really want extra flavour. Okay, so just pop that in. I just love the smell when I'm cooking with oranges. Now, I am not just a purist. I appreciate that this is going to be a snack. It's going to be a snack that I have to compete with the things you can buy in the shops. And I'm also not averse to chocolate. But you do know I'm a big fan of dark chocolate. So I have got here the Humble Dark Chocolate Chip. Now, whilst I'm going to add some of these to this, it is all about portion control when it comes to something like dark chocolate. It does have antioxidants. The higher the cocoa amount in your dark chocolate, the better. You can get chocolate chips with 70% cocoa. You can get them with 90%. But in the supermarket, you can get them. I'd like you to try and get around 70% of cocoa. It starts to have antioxidant benefits, and it even is a source of iron at that stage. Equally, the reason I'm using chocolate chips is it's about portion control. We're going to use less than if we try breaking up big bars of chocolate. And I'm going to add to this a scant handful of chocolate chips, okay? Just fold them in. You're going to get that hit of chocolate against with the apricot and with all the nuts, etc. You do not need to laden it with a whole bag of chocolate chips. Start off shy, and then if you don't get enough of a hit, next time you make them you can add a bit more. But you'll be amazed that you don't need a huge amount to get that chocolate hit. So that is that. Now, how do we create the energy bar from that? Well, as always, my trusty little baking sheet there. I've lined it. I've shown you how to line before. Get your grease proof, cut your corners off, and then a little bit of oil or spread and just push it down into there. We're not baking, but we're going to be refrigerating or freezing, okay? So get your energy bar mixture and just tip it into your tray. Now, I do have to say at this point, you do want to make sure you press it down because you want these things to hold together when you're going to cut them later on today. So this is a top tip. We're going to do it now. How do we get this all stuck down and good to go? Well, the first thing to do is just use the back of a spatula or the back of your spoon and just kind of even it out inside like that. But don't worry, if you don't like even getting sticky at this point, that's actually not too bad, is it? You could just get away if you were in a real rush doing that. But as it's you guys, and as you know, I like to treat you all on a Saturday morning. I'm going to show you how to make it look really professional. So grab your greaseproof, your parchment, whatever you want to call it. Take a section the same size as the top of your baking tray. Cut it down or tear it like so. And just put it over the top of your cereal bar mixture. Press it down with your hands. Okay, so we've covered the top there. And then, depends on your baking tray. My rolling pin is way too big for this. So I've gone for a glass, okay? I'm using quite a thick glass. I don't want any really, really thin glasses because we're going to use this as a rolling pin to really press down that cereal mixture. So just get it and literally push the cereal bar really with quite a lot of force just into all the corners. okay? And you'll just have compressed really, really quickly, like so. Now, at this stage, we can leave it and we're going to put it into the fridge for 20 to 25 minutes. Or we can make them look super fancy. And we eat with our eyes, and it's for you, so we're going to make it fancy. So there's lots of different options. I melted down some of those dark chocolate chips earlier on. This, again, when you're using chocolate, again, because you're prescribing your own for this recipe, if you like the mint flavoured dark chocolate, which you can get, there's a very good brand starting G and a B that do 70% flavoured chocolates. I think you can get orange, you can get mint, you can get chili. This is when you can choose this, and you can add an extra flavour and dimension to your cereal bars. Otherwise, obviously, just your plain dark chocolate. You can pour this on. I have no problem with that. You can pour it on and create a little lid for your cereal bar. However, if you're wanting to be careful about the amount you use, why don't we just do something very arty and using far less chocolate and just have a bit of fun. Just sort of wiggle it over the top, okay? You're using a very small amount of chocolate to do this, but of course when we see it, it looks really appetizing and it looks like we're really treating ourselves. Again, you can play around with the amounts, but I've used like 2 spatula loads there. It's not a huge amount, okay? And then, if you want, you can just put a few of those toasted nuts, shake it over the top, okay? So we've just added a little bit more fun. If you were with me for Rocky Road Week, and do you remember we used all those amazing little cranberries? They'd be great in this. So little dried cranberries, you can find the light versions now, so they're quite low in sugar. They'd be wonderful in this, and they'd be wonderful to decorate. So you can have loads of flavours. What I'm trying to do is show you how many different varieties you can make of your own and all the benefits of what you can put in. As always, you know I've made some, so let me get the ones I made out yesterday and we'll cut it open and see what they're like. Right, so those have gone into my fridge, and these are the ones I made yesterday. So these ones are made with dates as opposed to apricots, and walnuts with pistachio as opposed to the almonds. So we just thought, well, let's have some fun and see how we go. So let me just lift it out like that. We can see how it holds together. I've pressed it down. I've done a little squiggle of chocolate on the top. Let me cut some of that open now. And again, cereal bars, perfect for you to have before your run. Perfect, if I'm honest, as a breakfast on the go. For those of you that don't have breakfast, I know a lot of you run, or the runs start at late mornings and everything. It's very difficult to decide on what you can eat that's not going to affect your running or not going to make you feel bloated. So this is possibly an option for you to have as a sort of light breakfast or as a snack up to about half an hour before you run or before you exercise. It's equally as good as a recovery because we've got so much protein in it. Now, how would I cut this? I'm going to give it 2 different ways. Either use a sort of sharp serrated knife, or I don't know why I always use this, my pizza cutter. I think it's brilliant for like getting, let me try my pizza cutter first. I'm going to base this on, I mean, this is, to be fair, I'd get more than 12 portions doing this. But if I just show you, I mean, that's a very generous cereal bar, and that's about 1/10 of what we've done. But if you can just see that, now, obviously, in relation to the ones you buy in the shop, this is approximately half the amount of sugar, and we've used fructose sugar. So it's a good sugar. It's a sugar that's going to stabilise our blood sugar levels. It's going to give us the energy we require. We've gone for the porridge and the nuts. We've controlled the amount of extras we've added to it. We've gone for flavours. Thank you for the hearts. We've gone for all the flavours that we personally like. In terms of how we store and look after this, perfect. Keep it, wrap it up individually in either some greaseproof paper or whatever you like, and then put it in your freezer, and then it's good to go for about 3 months. You could just throw it into your running bag or take it with you to one of your competitions or your runs, and it'll take approximately an hour to defrost. You only need that. Equally, just keep it in an airtight container. Ideally in the fridge, it'll last up to about a week. I don't think they're going to last that long. I'm going to be handing these out all day. But really, I just wanted to show you how simple they are. I mean, thank you for all the hearts. I know it's literally going to be 7 to 10 minutes of your life to create them once. 20 minutes in the fridge. If you're really time shy, put them in the freezer for 10 minutes. Slice them up and have a go. Because once you start making these things, it stops you going into the shop and buying the really unhealthy versions that are out there. The other thing is, and it's really relevant, is cost. These are going to cost approximately, I don't know, 40p each, something like that. I mean, literally, the cost of the ingredients is nothing. If you look at the cost of the ones in the shops, I think you can pay up to £3 for a packet of 5. I mean, literally, I nearly died at some of the costs. I mean, I had to buy them all just to do an experiment, so I know how expensive they are. Have a go. These will feed your entire family as well. Let me know if you come up with a fabulous variation you think I should know about. Please let me know, because I'm cooking these all the time now. I know it's Easter, so happy Easter to everyone tomorrow. I'm probably not going to persuade you not to eat your Easter eggs for these instead, but maybe give these a go and have them next week as your treats. Come back and see me. I'm in next week. I'm going to do something savoury. I think if the weather improves slightly, I might start doing some funky salads with you all, things that we can have all through the spring and summer. You like that idea by the look of those hearts? Send in any suggestions you've got. Send me pictures of your cereal bars, please. Have a fabulous weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care for now.